Happiness is a feeling that comes over you when you know life is good and you can't help but smile. Your reasons for being happy may be different, but everyone shares the common goal of wanting to achieve it. Happiness is a universal language that we all speak. There are lots of themes covered within Jean-Pierre Genet's Amelie: love, loneliness, and non-conformism, to name a few. However, today I'm going to be focusing on happiness. At its core, Amelie's narrative structure revolves around our innate human struggle to find happiness. The film brings into clear focus the sad truth that most people actually don't know how to be happy. To them, it is an insurmountable undertaking, far beyond their ability to tackle single-handedly. They instead sentence themselves to live in denial, past catastrophes condemning them to emotionally stagnate, further prolonging their suffering. This inner battle is perfectly illustrated through our protagonist's struggle to bring happiness to others, while paradoxically being unwilling to allow herself that same happiness. Amelie suppresses her own wanting to be happy through her crusade to carry out small unnoticed acts of kindness to those in her life she deems in need. This may be as large an undertaking as getting her introverted father to come to terms with Amelie's mother's death, allowing him to start his life again, fulfilling his dream of travelling the world, or a mere random act of kindness to a complete stranger who she will never cross paths with again. However, despite her good intentions, Amelie soon discovers that people's lives are intricate and she herself equally as complicated, bringing into question her right to be the determiner of happiness. An incident in the Two Windmills Cafe solidifies this motif as her attempt to be the conciliator between two lovers ends in misconception, confusion, and ultimately makes her question her own motives as an acting third party. She is a guardian angel out of her depth. Her version of reality, although optimistic, is an oversimplification of the real world. Yet, she should be admired for trying to bring happiness to the often isolating existence of city life. All the characters in Amelie are segregated in their own personal battles with themselves. Be that Georgetta and her hypochondria, DeFeo the painter with his bones of glass, or Amelie's father obsessed with his garden gnome. Amelie as a character is a great example of human compassion at work in the modern world. She is dissatisfied with the relationships in her own life and in the world that she sees around her, so in response she uses the little influence that she has to change it for the better. From a young age she cultivated the small pleasures in life in a bid to fill the emptiness that she was unable to understand within herself, either from her mother's death, her father's despondency, or her separation from society at a young age due to her heart defect, all of which nurtured an idealized and romantic view of how she thinks society should act. Amelie's flawed search for control over her own happiness highlights the fact that we aren't always as good at interpreting our own emotions, let alone those of those around us. The fact that the road to achieving her goal isn't as straightforward as she anticipated is a metaphor for our own independent struggle with the human condition and the many setbacks we will receive in our own lives. Happiness versus misery, fantasy against reality. However, Amelie reminds us that there is achievable good in the world. Although she lives in a surrealist and romanticized version of reality, she, like the characters who inhabit the world around her, aren't perfect. They make mistakes, they have their own motives, and all harbour a secret desire to be happy. Jean-Pierre Genet's film asks us to examine our own behaviour in our lives and draw parallels with the journey of Amélie from Montmartre, the girl with the literal and figurative hole in her heart.